These are some things my husband did that showed me he really hated my guts.
On our 14th wedding anniversary.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in.
Hello. Today is April 4th, my 14th wedding anniversary. It's about nearly 10:30 at night, and my husband hasn't spoken to me all day. All day. He's come home, hasn't said hello to me, hasn't said a word to me. He's ignored me. On our 14th wedding anniversary. And he's doing it because he came into some money. I didn't ask for any of it, except to not have to spend what little I have. And because I asked about it, this man has ignored me all day. All day. All day. It's our 14th wedding anniversary. I've been here at home all day. I called him even earlier today to let him know about the painters arriving. And even then, his response to me was, "What?" This is my life. This is my life. This is what it's always been between us for 14 years. Last year was a tumultuous year for us, and all I've asked since then is marriage counseling, and to this day, a year later, nothing. Which tells me I should leave. Clearly. This is my life.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. Have you heard this story? On this lady's 14th wedding anniversary, her husband completely ignored her the whole day. Why? Because she asked for some money. I'm just so confused because men are out here screaming they want to be men, they're being emasculated here, this and that. But then you ask your husband of 14 years for some money and he stopped talking to you on your anniversary, 14-year anniversary. First of all, she's talking about, he completely ignored her in the house. My husband would not dare. Look, my personality is so big. I take up so much space that you cannot not notice me in this house. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you mean? On our 14-year anniversary in the house with you, and then the nerve to say, what, to your 14-year married? I'm convinced people get married.
These are some things my husband did that showed me he really hated my guts, like real bad. So number one, he wouldn't take interest in my desires and what interested me, the music I listened to. Like, he wasn't interested in coming into my world. He wanted me to come into his world. He wanted us to become one under the condition that we would only become one to the extent that I would emulate him and the kind of woman he wanted to be with long term. Number two, in our disagreements, he would never just take full accountability and say, okay, let's move on. Like, he wouldn't say, oh, I was wrong, and you know what, how can I improve? He would never say that. His thing would be, okay, I did this, but what about you? I didn't like when you did this on February 17th in 2019. I didn't like when you did this and da-da-da. We can never just come to a conclusion, get to a resolution, and move forward with a new insight. We can never just do that, because his thing was, let me flip it back on you because I don't like the spotlight of accountability. Number three, he was not interested in reciprocal sexual encounters. Our sexual encounters were not an exchange of energy and passion. It was a playground for him to be satisfied, and I was never the center. On our honeymoon night, I remember getting up out that bed, and I was like, is this really how I'm about to spend the rest of my time? I had to go the bean, you feel me? I had to go do that on my honeymoon. He didn't care. He just rolled over. He hated me. I didn't even realize it. All right, I think this is number four. He allowed his friends and his friend's wife to disrespect me, and he never stood up for me. So there was an instance, I have it on my YouTube, where I said my pastor's wife tried to fight me, literally tried to fight me, pulled up to my crib and everything. This man never defended me. I'm talking about, she was going in. She called me fat. She called me this. You built like this. Da, 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 da. And he just like, y'all calm down. You hate me. Like, this was the turning point. I got to do a part two, because this right here was the turning point. This is when I literally said, oh, he hates me. Even people I don't have to love you to defend you if somebody's wrong as hell. So you tell me this man's supposed to be my husband, he my baby daddy, and you're not even defending me? Oh, I was through.
Things my husband did to let me know that he secretly hated me. One, textbook. Birthdays, holidays, vacations. He would start something like a week before and would stonewall me, like give me the silent treatment. Like after he started something, he gets pissed off about something random. He would stop talking to me. And then finally, like a day or so before it was time to leave, prepare, or go to, he would start an argument. So now we're having a conversation about the situation, but it's an argument. And then when it's time to leave or go to the party, everything's cool. But I'm still dealing with the remnants of being stonewalled and the argument. But he's like cool and chilling. I'm thinking, from what I'm learning, I don't believe he's a narcissist. I do believe that he has very severe narcissistic traits because of his upbringing. But he was definitely stealing my energy and like stealing my personality so that he can use it for the function, the party, or the trip. Like, so he could, it's so sad to think about. But I can't think of it like that, because every time I think of it like that, it always like makes me want to stay married to him or feel bad about, maybe not having as much consideration as I should. He is my husband through sickness and health, but I have to think about the reality of the situation. Like, that man ain't like me, and he can't like me because he don't like him. He likes how much I love him. He loves how much I love him, and he likes my personality so he can steal it. He was stealing my personality. That is the craziest thing to think about. Like, I told y'all in the last video that I had stopped smoking and drinking and cussing and all that stuff. And it seemed like he started to hate me more because he was still doing those things. He doesn't drink. He's on the Sober Society, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever. So he doesn't drink anymore, but he still smokes and cusses and all that stuff. It seemed like the more I started to better myself, it's like he despised me more. Like, I had lost maybe 40 pounds or whatever. When I was 40 pounds heavier, he was all over me. Like, I was smoking cigarettes. He was all over me. But once I started to really come into who Christ made me to be, and I'm not there yet, I'm far from it, but I'm growing in Christ. he started to push away. So I just named one thing, but that one thing was hard. And I looked it up, like stonewalling. That's like one of the #1 causes for divorce, because it's like, it's no communication, it's no respect, it's emotional abuse. But it's just so sad because I just loved his kisses so much. That's how he would get me, because I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for kisses. Like I tell people all the time, I don't know if somebody like me until they kiss me. Like, because I'd be like, la, 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 in my own little world or whatever. So me being in my own little world, I don't be paying attention if somebody like me. It's just one day they kiss me and I'm like, oh, okay, you like me. So that's what my husband would do to make me like kind of get back into, or try to get back into my good graces. He would just kiss me so good, but I can't fall for it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. He's done. I'm done. We selling the house. It's over. Finito.
You think you're justified?
I've been what? I've been doing what for 10 years?
You've been writing on my income.
I've been writing on your income for 10 years. Being a stay-at-home mother, which you wanted me to.
I don't always agree with the legal system, but what I will say is they did get it right when they determined that after years of marriage, your wife is entitled to half. Even if the men kick and scream, even if the men are like, that's my house, that's my car, my job is the reason why you got... Even the legal system knows that that's not true. Because while you were able to be out and about and able to climb the corporate ladder, while you were able to go on the business trips and stay late and all that, somebody was at home making sure the house was running smoothly. Somebody was picking up little Johnny from school. Somebody was making sure the kids were well fed, that their homework was done, that they were bathed. Somebody was making sure that all of the home duties were taken care of over the 10, 15, 20 years, however the duration of the marriage. Somebody was getting it done. He was able to climb that corporate ladder due to someone else's effort. And even the legal system is wise enough to realize that that woman is entitled to half, because even if she wasn't with him shooting in the gym, so to speak, she was with him and making sure that he was able to be the kind of man he was at work because of what she was doing at home. Sometimes the life of a stay-at-home mom is a miserable one, a one where you have to almost ask permission like a child to spend any little money, that you are guilt-tripped and manipulated and meant to feel like you are wasteful when you try to do any little thing for yourself. Like you can't even buy a Starbucks drink without him saying, I mean, come on. Some men, they encourage you to be a stay-at-home mom because they feel like it puts them in a position of power. They want to rule you with the finances. They want to be able to have you come to them like a child and ask for things. It's not as glamorous as sometimes it seems. I know the idea of working a 40-hour work week doesn't always appeal to some women, and I get it. But the life of a work or stay-at-home mom is 24/7, no vacations, no time off, no none of that. Like, you need to figure out what's best for you and make sure that you find a partner that appreciates your role, whether that role makes income or not. I think it's really sad sometimes when you see a woman who's been divorced, how hard she has to work to rebuild her life. Because everything was with him, she has to work to build her credit. She has no rental history. She has no work history. And she ends up living far below the standard of living that he's living because she doesn't have anything of record. So what am I saying? Even if you are in a situation where your husband can handle all the bills, my personal suggestion is, even if it's a side hustle, if it's a hobby, I don't care how much or how little money it makes, find a way to make some money on your own, on the side. Have some kind of income so that you're not completely dependent. Even if you're like asking your husband for permission to get a Starbucks drink, if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. But certain things you want to be able to treat yourself here and there, and you don't want to feel like you have to ask permission. I feel like every woman should have some kind of way, it doesn't matter how well your husband's taking care of you, to make some money. Even if you're on here and you're making TikToks or YouTube videos, or you learn how to crochet, or you know how to knit, you braid hair on the side. I don't care what it is. I have seen one time too many with a divorcee trying to get her life together after 10, 15, 20 years, and she has to start all over from scratch. And I don't want that for y'all.
And my husband hasn't spoken to me.
If you go back and look at the video on the day of her 14th marriage anniversary, her husband hasn't said anything to her all day, and it's 10:30 at night. They apparently had a disagreement about some money, which led to this situation. Now, I love marriage. I love love. It's a beautiful thing. But I will say, for it to get to this point where you guys celebrated 14 years of marriage and he hasn't recognized it at all the whole day, I can honestly say there are some underlying issues going on with this. A person doesn't flip overnight. It has to be constant stuff we ignore throughout the time. I'm just speaking facts.
Do people change when they get a lot of money?
Wow. Now that's a good question. In other words, what you're asking, does money change people? Have you ever seen someone come into a lot of money and all of a sudden they become a completely different person? When we see that, here's what we usually say. Money sure did change them, but that's really not what happened. Money doesn't change people. Money magnifies who people already are. If you're a jerk, having more money will just make you a bigger jerk. If you're stingy, having more money will just make you stingier. On the other hand, if you are generous, having more money will make you more generous, more empathetic, more compassionate. Money magnifies who people really are.
Wow.
So, when you have more money, the true you comes out.
It's really giving she's the one that's been taking care of or basically carried the relationship, because she said that as soon as she said, I don't want to spend the money that I have, can I have some of the money that you have? He got upset, because at the end of the day, if you've been the one taking care of the relationship and now he come to some money and all of a sudden he became like that, he didn't just become like that. This man has always been like that. And he probably been getting money and secretly hiding it, and without you knowing. And how dare you know this situation? Like, hey, look, I have some money now. You know what I mean? Because what do you mean? What do you mean? 14 years? That's literally financial abuse. In a relationship, in a marriage, that's financial abuse. And she sounded so emotional. Like, so sad about this. Like, this is my life, ma'am. This don't have to be your life. Like, you know, people feel like when you get married, you're at a certain age. And I know in the comment section there's going to be one person saying money is root to all evil. That's not the case. The man was already evil. The money does not make you evil, because it's simply a tool for you to use. But when people are just nasty and evil people, then money obviously will amplify that, basically putting a magnifying glass over it, basically, right? In my opinion, this lady was so emotional, it was so sad. Like, I don't know, like, I don't want to add myself into this, but I just don't think I would be so readily available. Like, I'd be doing other things. Because if I wake up and I realize that it's our anniversary and you're ignoring me because I asked you for some money, like, I would be doing other stuff with my day, you know what I mean? But I still noticed the thing that you did, you know? Because as someone who just married, like, you're 14 years in, I understand maybe she thinks she's older, her life is over for her, and life is not over, you know what I mean? She basically stayed in that relationship for 14 years, even though this has been happening the whole relationship. If you're here, if you really listen to what she's saying, this has been happening the entire relationship. It doesn't seem like she ever had a happy moment in this relationship. I mean, she didn't say so much, but she also said a whole lot. Like, last year was turmoil. The whole year? You mean to tell me the entire year in your marriage, it was just like a tornado? That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too sensitive to too much drama, because it's like overstimulating. And as soon as the first sight of drama I see where it's just too much, maybe I'll let it go the first 2-3 times. But after that, I'm out of there. My peace is too important, it's too precious for me to stay where I feel like I'm not welcome. Because if you are loved, all of this is not necessary.